All right, legends, grab yourself a drink, pull up a chair, and let me ask you something. Have you ever watched a movie that, objectively speaking, is terrible, but you absolutely love it anyway? This week at the Alternative Pub, we're celebrating exactly that because we're diving headfirst into the weird, the wonderful, and the downright ridiculous world of 1950s B movies. A time when budgets were low, ideas were wild, and absolutely no one apparently said, maybe we shouldn't make bugs the size of a house. These films are loud, messy, charming, and completely unhinged. And honestly, that makes them some of the most fun you'll ever have having a few drinks and watching a movie. And if you enjoy this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Or you can just call me a tosser in the comments. It's up to you anyway. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 5, we're kicking things off with something truly special. The Tingler, directed by William Castle and starring the legendary Vincent Price. The plot is simple, ridiculous, and strangely perfect for the era. There's a parasite that lives inside your spine, and it feeds on fear. If you scream, you weaken it. If you don't, well, good luck, mate. But here's where it gets brilliant. William Castle didn't just make movies, he turned them into events. For The Tingler, he introduced something called percepto, which basically meant certain cinema seats would vibrate at key moments in the film. Imagine sitting there in 1959, minding your own business, and suddenly your chair starts shaking while Vincent Price is yelling about a spine monster. I mean, you'd spill your drink and question your existence. Castle, he was the king of gimmicks. Skeletons flying over audiences, insurance policies for dying of fright. The bloke was basically a carnival showman disguised as a director. And honestly, that's why this all works. It wasn't about perfection, it was about fun. Coming in at number 4 is It Came From Outer Space. Now, this one is a bit different. It's still a B movie, still got aliens, still slightly ridiculous, but there's actually a surprising amount of atmosphere here. This is peak Cold War paranoia cinema. Aliens landing in the desert, people acting strangely, that creeping feeling that something just isn't right. It's less about monsters and more about fear. Fear of invasion, fear of the unknown, fear that your neighbour might not actually be your neighbour anymore. Bit unsettling when you think about it, and yet there's a charm to it. The flying saucers, the dramatic dialogue, the slightly stiff acting that somehow makes everything better. These films, at the time, they weren't actually trying to be ironic. They were dead serious, which makes watching them today even more entertaining. It's like watching history, paranoia, and imagination all collide in one beautifully weird package. Coming in at number 3 on the list is Tarantula. And if there was one thing that 1950s American cinema loved, it was making absolutely everything massive. Ants, massive. Spiders, massive. Probably someone somewhere pitched a movie about a giant goldfish. And honestly, I'm a little bit disappointed that never actually got made. I mean, imagine the golden fins of doom. Tommy, that's not your goldfish anymore. It's a communist death machine from outer space. Anyway, moving along. Tarantula delivers exactly what you'd expect. A gigantic spider roaming the desert and ruining everyone's day. Starring John Agar, who was basically the unofficial king of B movies at this point, and also featuring a very early appearance from a young Clint Eastwood. Yep, before he was a legend, he was dealing with oversized spiders. Hey, we all start somewhere. what makes these films fascinating is the context. This was the atomic age. Radiation, science experiments, and fear of the unknown were everywhere. So naturally Hollywood went, what if there was a spider, but it was the size of a building? Scientific accuracy? Not important. Entertainment value through the roof. And honestly, there's something incredibly comforting about how straightforward these films are. Problem, giant spider. Solution, blow it up. Job done. All right, in at number 2 is, and this one is special, Robot Monster. Now, I do not say this lightly, but this might be one of the most gloriously insane films ever made. The monster in the movie is basically a bloke in a gorilla suit wearing some kind of fishbowl diving helmet thing. I mean, it genuinely feels like someone lost a bet. Like, right, Dave, you've got a suit, a helmet, and 3 days. Go and make a film. And despite all this, somehow it actually works. There's something about sitting down with a couple of drinks and watching this absolute madness unfold that just hits differently. It's chaotic, it's nonsensical, it's borderline surreal, but it's also endlessly entertaining because you can feel the effort behind it. There's no budget, no polish, just pure, unfiltered creativity, and sometimes that's better than perfection. And finally, in at number 1, the peak of beautiful, ridiculous 1950s madness, Invasion of the Saucer Men. This is it. This is everything you want in a 1950s B movie. Aliens with oversized heads, rock and roll teenagers in cars, wild, nonsensical chaos unfolding at every turn. It's like the filmmakers just threw every idea at the wall and said, yeah, that'll do. And you know what? It actually works. There's something so pure about this film. It is not trying to be deep and meaningful or profound. It just wants to entertain you for 70 odd minutes, and it succeeds massively. This is the kind of movie you want to throw on with a few drinks and just enjoy the ride. No overthinking, no expectations, just good old-fashioned, slightly unhinged fun. And there we have it, my top 5 B movies from the 1950s. Proof that sometimes the best films aren't the biggest, the smartest, or the most polished. Instead, they're the ones that take risks, get a bit weird, and aren't afraid to have a bit of fun. These movies are a time capsule, a glimpse into a world of drive-in cinemas, atomic age fears, and filmmakers just trying to entertain however they could. And honestly, in my humble opinion, we could use a bit more of that today. So next time you start scrolling through endless options, throw on a B movie, pour yourself a drink, and embrace the madness. Let me know in the comments, what are some of your favourite B movies from the 1950s? Anyway, cheers.